Have you ever been on Facebook Marketplace or Auto Trader looking at cars you want but simply just can't afford? Maybe looking for the next little project, and something pops up that you think, might be a bit of me that. And my problem is, this happens a little too often. And what happens is, normally, these vehicles, I buy them cheap and then they sit around for a while. As you can see here, they've got quite a few that have starting to grow roots. I'm going to start a series of selling all my vehicles and seeing how much I can actually make, and maybe buying an affordable dream car. I'm just going to walk you through all my vehicles, how much I think they're worth, what they need doing, and yeah, so we will start with one of the vehicles I've had the longest, which is my old Transit Custom. Now, this needed a timing chain. I borrowed this to a mate. The chain started to go. It has done absolute moon mileage. At 236,000 miles. It is a little rough around the edges. That rust is certainly getting worse. And that needs a few bits for an MOT. So that's one vehicle. And then this one, the X5. Again, if you've been following along for a while, I went out to a new customer, she'd broken down, so the clutch pedal went to the floor. She was on her road, so I knew what it was going to be. Slave cylinders failed on an Audi A3, went round there, bled it up. And as I was there, she's like, oh, I've got an old BMW if you want to buy that. No, not really. And then we turned up to her house and yeah, I thought, oh, I don't look too bad. Done a quick check on the reg, saw that it was a petrol 4.4 V8, and instantly I was like, I don't need another car, but it's cheap. She wanted scrap money for it. It's in quite nice condition, really. It just needs loads of little bits doing to it. So yeah, that needs doing as well. I got that for £500. Again, I don't think it's worth loads. I'd estimate 3.5 at best on that one. Alongside being a mobile mechanic, I'm also, as a lot of you know, a used car dealer. And you can trust me when I say, when it comes to used cars, there's a lot you don't see at first glance. Take this X5 for example. I was drawn in by its V8 petrol engine and its low value, but as you can see by checking Car Vertical, it was not all that it was cracked up to be. So as you can see here on the report, it's got 2 findings, one for financial and legal status and one for the ownership. And if I scroll down, the vehicle has failed its most recent technical inspection on record, which to me and you is an MOT. And then come into the MOT report, you'll see everything that it's failed on. And this is quite a big list. Also, the ownership, it says 5 owners found and that it's had frequent changes, which might indicate a problem. Car Vertical is a website which allows you to check the history of any car you're looking into buying. It pulls up reports from databases all over Europe and beyond. Accidents, write-offs, ownership changes, mileage tampering, and even old photos of when it was damaged. I use it with every purchase, both privately and professionally. And I'm pleased to be able to give you guys a discount code which gives you 20% off when you sign up to Car Vertical or use the link below. Even if it's a car you just can't resist, at least you can go into the sale with all the knowledge and maybe even knock down a price too. If you're lucky enough to find a vehicle without any findings, you will automatically receive your spent credits back too. Thanks Car Vertical for sponsoring this week's video. Again, discount code Kirby at the checkout or follow the link below. This cheap Cayman S, got this for about £8,000. Didn't need much, just needed an MOT, needs a service. 2 track rod ends and inners were picked up on the MOT, so that needs doing, and a service. Not much to do there. I think that one's going to be worth about £12,000 to £13,000. And then tucked in the corner of my yard, we've got my Mark II Golf GTI 16 valve, oak green in case you can't tell on the camera, power steering, power windows, sunroof. It is a very nice car, except I have let it sit around and look at that. Ooh, it's not looking too clever in there. And I think even some little furry friends have started making a little nest in there. But that's a long time project, and if you've seen the previous video, I put it up on a ramp and found there was a lot more rust than I expected. I'm not going to put a price on that one. I think I bought that for £4,000 5 years ago. All done up. God knows how much it's worth. Next vehicle, which is next door to it. We've got this Chevrolet Captiva. Now, I bought this off of, no I didn't. I got given this off of a customer because he owed me money. It's got some running issues which I need to sort out, and probably a few other bits that I don't actually know about because I've not got it on the ramp yet. So that one was for free. I think that might be worth about 3.5, 4. It's got quite low mileage on it. And then this was a buy, my Edition 30, that didn't need anything. I did buy it from Birmingham. It was cheap, or cheaper than the rest. And the guy who was selling it, he seemed decent. Yeah, so I thought, why not? This doesn't really need anything. This needs a track rod end, which I'm gonna do today, and then an MOT. And I bought this one for 5,100 at the time. I've actually just sold this to a mate for 5,800. I've had some body work done because it had all lacquer peel everywhere. The red car, obviously. There's still some on there. There's still on this spoiler here. There's a little bit on the door here, but the rest is okay now. Like the bumper and the bonnet, that was lacquer peeled to hell. The rear bumper was lacquer peeled. So we've done all work on there. So yeah, we're gonna get this one in today into the workshop. These are all customers' cars. This Mini is actually for sale through my business, so this isn't a personal vehicle. All of those other ones are personal vehicles. And if you're new here, you might think, well, he's a mobile mechanic. What's he doing in a unit? But I've got this little farm unit, 2 ramps in the middle of nowhere, so no one bothers us up here. And I've got another business buying and selling cars. At home, I've also got the Range Rover, the £600 Range Rover. That doesn't need much apart from a scratch maybe sorting out now, but I've seen those go for £8,000 with the mileage mine's got, so who knows if that will be the same case. And then I've also got the Vito that I bought off my brother-in-law, which it had some faults on it, and I found one of the big chunky power cables going to the auxiliary battery that was caught up behind the seat and a few other wires. I've since repaired those, but I've still got some faults there, so I'm gonna have to have a look at that. That could be worth about 13 grand. So yeah, I haven't been keeping a tally here yet, but it's mounting up. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what car I want to buy, but would you guys, if I had £20,000 to spend, an attainable dream car, maybe 25. I quite like the look of an E39 M5. I mean, you know, I can go out and get an RS3 or something like that, but there's loads of those about. I am into my classic cars, and recently I have thought about getting one of those. But then I've got the BMW X5 with a similar engine, a 4.4 V8 petrol. It's not an M5 though, is it? Anyway, right, let's figure out getting one of these cars in and getting some work done. Right, first job I think we're going to start with is the Edition 30, because it needs the least. It is sold, and actually there's some MOT slots this afternoon, so going to get this done, whip it up the MOT centre, come back, start on the Porsche, I think. But let's get these off. So, as you can see, just peel that back. It's not picking up very well on a camera, but the boot is knackered and there is play in it. It's quite rusty. Let's get this off. Right, so before I get undoing this nut, I'm just going to undo this nut. And I've got the snap-on flank drive spanners that I bought when I was an apprentice. And I'll tell you what, they are brilliant. If you get the right size. There we go. So Let's get under here. So that's cracked off, but it's still seized on this arm, but I'm not too fussed. But yeah, that is loose enough now where I can get this off, spin it off, spin a new one on, job done. All right, quickly just whiz this off, hopefully. Lovely. Get you guys out of the way. Bit of a hammer. Hopefully that should twist. Nice and easy. 1, 2. $18.5. Knackered. Right, nice bit of ceramic paste. Just goes on there, just on the end of the thing there. So if it wants to come off again, that'll come off nice and easy still. Right, back on it goes. To be honest, counting hasn't made much of a difference if I ain't gonna move that nut. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to tighten that up. Get on this nut and hopefully we can turn that without turning this. I might have to hold this inner track rod. All right, there we go. One easy track rod end, and this nut was quite seized on, so I've got another flank drive type Milwaukee spanner. Goes on a space there, just locked it up against the anti-roll bar, nipped that up. Had to use my little spanner extender. These things come in so handy. That's one job off the list on this one. That is that simple job done. I'm going to run it down to the MOT station now, and I'm going to let you guys into why I've not really been on YouTube for the last couple of months. I've had loads of lovely messages saying from people saying they're missing the content, so here it is. Nothing too sinister, to be honest, but jump along in the car and I'll let you know all about it. And firstly, I just want to apologise if I sound all a bit nasally. So I have been ill this week, just a bit of man flu, nothing too bad. Now I was meant to have this whole week off, which I have, but I had previously, weeks ago, booked this week off purely to film content and work on my own vehicles, because yes, I haven't filmed anything for a while. Now, it can be quite stressful and time consuming filming all this content. I know it's my job. You know, when you're trying to earn a living and film your work slows down. You know, so here and there, I weren't filming, but then I sort of got a feel for it again, you know, started filming again, and as a lot of long-time subscribers would know, I've been looking for a second mechanic for a long time now. I've interviewed a few have come out on days in the van with me, and they've all been all right, but just not suited. I had actually found somebody, and I had hired someone. Obviously, taking somebody on board, having them out on the van with me, wanted to show them how I work and how I'd like things done. Not too much filming goes on. And then I just got used to not filming for a while. It was nice not to have the burden of filming. This person is no longer with me. Nothing untowards. You know, I haven't had to sack him or anything like that. But he's decided he wasn't really enjoying the job, which is fair enough. I was prepared to wait and train him up to the way I'd like things done, and you know, he lacked a little bit of experience, but his attitude you could not fault, and that was one of the main reasons I hired him, is because I knew how good a work, how much of a workman he was. You know, I don't know, his work ethic, that's the one I'm going for. Sorry, it's man flu brain. But yeah, for whatever reason, he's now, you know, gone on to something else. And it's all a bit stressful, you know, and I was really glad for the break, but I am hiring still. So if you're a mechanic in High Wycombe, Aylesbury, surrounding areas, do get in touch. I'll leave my email in the description below. But yeah, this week was just meant to be filming all of my stuff and probably getting about 3 or 4 good quality videos together. But yeah, the man flu's just taken over. I've got loads of work booked in next week, and in the week after I go on holiday. So, and today is Friday, so yeah, I'm going to try and get some bits out, and that's where I've been. So yeah, I'm glad some of you have missed me, but I'm back. Hopefully going to start pumping out the videos again. Yeah, I'm just going to, this is actually going to be the last drive in my Edition 30 as well, so I'm just going to enjoy it. I am going to miss it. So yeah, I'll see you after the MOT, and we've got one more job that I've forgotten about on this car before moving on to the next one. Right, back from the MOT, passed with flying colours. Wink, wink. And I nearly forgot about this other job that has been, I'd say, bothering me for pretty much the whole entire time I've had this car, which is 1.5 years, by the way. And let me just show you the mileage I do between MOTs. Current mileage, 132,586. Last year's mileage, 131,225. So, you know, it's just over 1,000 miles in a year, which is pathetic. 1,300. The problem is, I spend all my time in that thing, and then when me and Mrs. Kirby go out, we go out in her car. She's got a lovely little Mark 7 Golf that you've seen on the channel before. But anyway, I digress. Need to fit this little gear linkage piece. I'll show you the current one. About 1.5 years ago, first got this. Me and a few mates went up to Caffeine and Machine, having a bit of a spirited drive up the motorway, shall we say, and dropped it down a gear, banged it into third, and then I had no other gear other than third. And it turned out the gear linkage was just knackered, so I limped it to Caffeine Machine into the car park in third, went to go reverse into a space, realised obviously I've got no reverse either. And then we managed to do a bit of a bodge and with some cable ties, and it's lasted, to be honest. The feel has been a bit notchy, but I've just got used to it and it works. So, but before I sell it to a mate, I thought I'd just replace this. So, yeah. So that sits just down there. So we're going to get the battery out and the battery tray, and then we should have access to what we need. So with the battery and the battery tray out of the way, this is the bodge, basically. So I had a cable tie through there and a cable tie there. And yeah, it was just keeping this gear linkage on. Oh, this piece is broken as well. Let me get this off and show you. There we go. That piece is broken. That piece is just a little nub. So yeah, that just wasn't doing its job without some cable ties. Right, slight hiccup. Let me show you. So I can get it onto this side. Like I said, just pulling that back, squeezing it on. But then I can't get that in there because it needs to be at a certain angle without taking this mount off, which I don't want to do, or just undo these bolts here, undo that one, then I can maneuver it hopefully all in one, because if I put this on first I then can't get that on. We'll see. Let's undo those, a couple of 13s. There we go. Remove those, popped it all on, clips back on there. There is a clip missing here. When I went into VW to order this, I said, I'm sure there's a little white clip on the end of this. But I think, no, I can't see any on the system. There is. So yeah, I don't know if I can nick one from Carl's car over there, or I might have nicked one in the past, I don't know. Little parts car he's got over there. Let's go and test that, see how that feels. I think I've got it back in the right place. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, reverse, all nice and smooth. And that, I think, is the Edition 30 finished. Oh, it's a hot day today here in the UK. This weird thing called the sun is out. Right, I think that's where I'm going to leave this video. Just one and done. First one's out the door. It's already sold. Quick, easy 6 grand. Just under. But that money is going straight out of my pocket and straight into somebody else's hands, the brother-in-law's hands, because I owe him for the Vito I bought last year. So not really any profit in that one, but yeah, not much to do on this, not much footage to show you, but I just wanted to let everybody know where I've been, and yeah, I'm finally back making content. So yeah, hope you've all enjoyed this little short video, and I hope you get on board with this little series I want to do. Try and get a little, I don't know, something a little bit special, or let me know, do I use that money to put back into the actual business side rather than spending it on silly toys again? I don't know, we'll see. Well, one thing for sure is I'm going to be back on Facebook Marketplace looking at cars. So yeah, hope you've all enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.